Hello friends, welcome to episode 132 of the Shauna Stitches Podcast. I'm Shauna and this is my crafty channel where I talk about all the things that I've been working on lately. Today is March the 15th, 2026 at 11:11 a.m. I'm getting a little bit later of a start than normal, but that's because I could not put the project that I'm working on down this morning. But we'll get into that in a little bit. If you look right down below in the description or about box, whatever YouTube is calling it today, you will find links to everywhere where you can find me. Also, project pages for every project I talk about. There's also a mentioned section now where I include things that I'll mention in this episode, but maybe some things from the few past episodes as well. Yeah, I'll talk about that later, but places where you can find me is Instagram, Ravelry, my Goodreads, email address, and Ask Me Anything thread. It's all listed right down below. If for some reason I don't mention something that you have a question about, or you can't find it on one of those project pages or links that I've included, please just reach out, send me a DM, leave me a comment here. I'm always happy to look up that information and help you in any way that I can. Let's get right into what I'm wearing. I just got done taking finished object photos for my Rujuu cardigan. That is what I'm wearing. This was the mystery yoke-along pattern for 2026 done by Jaunty Knits. This was, let's see, when did we start this? January? I have the start and finish date right here. I started this January 15th of 2026 and I finished it February 28th of 2026. And this was all stash yarn. I absolutely love it. I believe it was the previous episode where I talked about finishing this. If not, it was the one right before that. But if you want more information, just go check that out. But today I'm finally wearing it. It is blocked. Like I said, I finally got some finished object photos and I am loving it. I've already worn it at least one day. It is nice and toasty warm, and for me, that is perfect. I just love it. It's a really good fit and I highly recommend it, even though it is no longer a mystery. And of course, I know some people prefer not having the mystery element, so you can plan your colors, decide what you're going to do, if you're going to alter some of the charts or what have you. I have one finished object today, and that is the Showered in Rainbows baby cardigan. It is so cute. There it is, front and back. So I mentioned this a few episodes back. I started this February 15th of 2026 using an Ice Yarns Magic sock. So it is a self-striping yarn, which is what this pattern is designed for. It is meant to show off these cute stripes in a different way, which I think came out really nice. This pattern started out very fun because of the unique construction. However, fun quickly became fiddly, at least for me. Now that I see it finished, I think it is so cute. I think it is absolutely worth it. But there was certainly a time where I was thinking to myself, what have you done? What did you get yourself into? And why are we still doing this? That being said, it's super cute. I cannot wait to gift it. I've only steam blocked it so far. So as soon as I'm done here, I will be putting this in a wash, letting it soak, letting those fibers plump up and fill in a little bit. And then I will be, as soon as it's dry, gifting it this following week. So I'll get some pictures of it after it's blocked and dried, but I won't be able to physically show it on the next episode. I made the 3 to 6 month size. What else do I need to say about that? I didn't alter anything purposely, but one thing that confused me a bit in the pattern, I actually got confused about what size I was making. So the 3 to 6 month size is the third size in the pattern. For some reason, I thought I was making the second size. And when it came to picking up the button bands, if that's what we want to call them, it suggested a number, and it said to pick up 3 stitches for every 4 rows. Wait, is that where it was? Maybe it was actually, I think it was the front here. That makes more sense because that wouldn't have been picked up. That would have just been knit on. So forget what I just said. When I picked up here, because if you remember it, the last time I showed you this, and it will be impossible to truly show you, but I had this side panel done without the arm in there. And that's as far as I had gotten, just the side panel. So after you finish that, you do a second side panel. So you have 2 identical, but probably different striping side panels. And then you pick up one of these sides. I can't remember which one is first, but you pick up one. And I started picking up as suggested, every 3 stitches for every 4 rows. So pick up 3, skip 1, pick up 3, skip 1, etc. And I had to rip that out and re-pick up several times because that ratio of pickup was not getting me the number of stitches that I needed. Now again, I'm thinking I'm making the second size. I'm actually supposed to be picking up for the third size, and I wasn't even getting enough stitches for the second size. So I fiddled my way through getting enough stitches for the second size, and I'm guessing my row gauge is different than the pattern, which would affect that, because I'm really glad I didn't try and cram enough stitches for the third size into that pickup, because it looks great how it is, and it would have turned out probably ripply and bunchy there if I would have picked up more stitches than I did. So all that to say is, if it seems like you are needing to pick up way too many stitches for the size that it is, I would be cautious of that. This turned out just fine on both sides, but I did make sure I picked up the same amount on this side as I did on this side, and at least kept that consistent. Other than that, it wasn't clear. So all the picking up that you do on this, it recommends the same ratio, 3 for every 4. But on the bottom, where you're picking up the hem, it doesn't say what ratio. And if I would have picked up every stitch, I would have had too many stitches. So I just went with that every 3 for 4. But it's the only place where I see when I skipped the stitch, it left kind of it almost looks like a purl bump. It's not, it's just a skipped pickup. But it blends in with the garter of the hem, so it's really not noticeable. The baby's not going to care, and I don't think the parents who don't knit will notice. It's just one of those little things that when I first started knitting that, I looked at it and I was like, did I do something wrong? And I thought I had just done a really sloppy pickup, which I'm usually pretty good about picking up stitches. So I didn't understand, but it's fine. It'll be fine. The back is joined together with a 3 needle bind off. So you can see it's kind of 3D effect there. And other than that, I just knit to pattern. I knit the sleeves as long as it called for. I don't have a baby to measure on, so hopefully it's accurate. The baby was born, gosh, how much did he weigh? 7 pounds, 8 pounds, something like that. Actually, maybe almost 9. So I'm thinking the sooner I get this to them, the better, because I think he's going to be wearing it sooner than 3 months. But that's just a guess. You know, I don't really know baby sizes. It seems small and big at the same time. Does that make any sense? I found these 3 buttons in my stash. I just thought they matched the colors in the yarn pretty well, and it looks cute for a little boy baby sweater. So that's all I have to say. Do I recommend the pattern? If you like interesting construction and you don't mind weaving in a lot of ends, this was a lot. I didn't count in the end how many I had, but I'm going to guess around 30, maybe more. If you don't mind all that and you want to try an interesting construction, I say go for it. The other part of me says, there have to be much easier baby cardigans to make. So your choice, I guess. Oh, I did forget to say, I used 63 grams for this size. So I think any of the sizes you can get with just one skein or very close to that number. That's all I have to say, and that is my only finished object. I do have some works in progress to talk to you about though, and I have some exciting ones. The first one is a brand new cast on. I started this March 10th, 2026, and it is a DK weight Cozy Memories blanket. I have been wanting to cast this on forever. Kay, the crazy sock lady, Kayla, I should say, the crazy sock lady, she just finished a DK weight Cozy Memories blanket, and I commented on her Instagram story, I think it was, and said I'd been wanting to cast on a DK weight, but my fingering weight one wasn't done, and I should probably wait. And yeah, it didn't take a lot of encouragement, but she said, why not have another blanket whip? It's okay. And I thought, yeah, it really is okay. I have no end goal for my fingering weight one. In fact, I cast that on April of 2016. So we're coming up next month on 10 years. This is my decade anniversary DK weight Cozy Memories, I guess. It may or may not ever get finished, but my goal for this, I still have row 1 minis from when I subscribed to that a long time ago. I did use a bunch of those up in my reading shawl that I made last year. I don't remember, June, I think, of last year. And I still had some left. I still really want to resubscribe to that, but I'm not doing it yet. I still have some. I need to use those first. But my goal was to find a DK weight cast on size that would use the majority of a 10 gram mini. And that's holding fingering double by pulling from the inside and outside. So my first square that I cast on, this is actually the second iteration of that first square. The first time I started, I was on 4.0mm needles, again, holding fingering weight double. I cast on 46 stitches because that is how many I do for my fingering weight, which is 23 on each side with a marker in the middle, decrease on each sides. So I was getting like real close to being done, and I was playing yarn chicken. What I didn't take into account with that was that the cast on, I did a long tail cast on, took more yarn than future squares where you are picking up, and then for me on, well, let's see, you'd be casting on over here and then picking up across here, or on this one you're picking up all the way. So not accounting for the fact that a long tail cast on would take more yarn than picking up stitches, I was concerned that I was running out of yarn. And I didn't go all the way to the end because I just thought if I make it, it's going to be by just a hair. And I didn't want to be so close to using the entire 10 gram mini that if I had a mini that was slightly lesser, 9.5 grams, 9 grams, that I wouldn't be able to finish a square. But I still wanted to use as much as I could. So I ripped this out completely and I cast on, still using the 4mm needle because I do like the fabric that I'm getting. It's dense, but not too dense. It's squishy, soft. It feels nice. So I cast on 40 stitches because I know that's what Lisa from 72 Stitches or Knit All the Yarn and Kayla, the crazy sock lady, they both use that 40 stitch count. And I think they even do the 40 stitches on their fingering weight. But I think the 23 or the 46 that I do, I'm pretty sure that's in the pattern or a pattern. I don't think that's a number I would have just pulled out of thin air. Anyway, so this is the 40 stitches. I finished the square and I used, just over 6 or, no, I'm sorry, 6, almost 7 or just over 7, something like that. So that leaves a lot of yarn left, more than I wanted. But I did a second square that I joined on actually in this pumpkin color. So I have a picture of that I will put up on the screen because that is a picture of these two squares, both 40 stitches, held up in relation to these 2 squares that I will talk about the stitch count on those in just a minute. But when you see that photo, you can see an actual real difference in size. So what I did, I got a brand new mini, this one, 10 grams or approximately there. And I decided to try to cast, or actually back up one second. When I knit the second square here, this one was a bit of a smaller mini. It was just over 9 grams or maybe just barely 9 grams. And at the 40 stitches, I had used 6.8 grams. So I still had a good chunk left, even on a smaller mini. So I thought I want to use the majority of a 10 gram mini, but have enough of a buffer that if my mini is small, I can still get a square, but also not have a ton left over. There's a magic number out there somewhere, I'm sure of it, and it might be 46, but I did not try 46 again because I already was running out of yarn for that one. So I cast on 44 stitches, and with the 44 stitches, that is all I had left. I think it's like a gram, if that, maybe 0.8 grams. It's very small. So, and that one included the cast on, a complete cast on edge, which uses more yarn. And for my purple square, I had this much, so more than I had with that first one. And then I did this square up here, and I have a pretty good chunk there too, probably close to 2 grams. And then when I reknit the pumpkin, this is how much I have left. And I specifically did not weave in the ends because you can see where that first mini got me to. So I knit this much more with having the 44 stitches versus the 40 stitches, if that makes any sense at all. So all that to say is I ripped and reknit this a bunch. I plan on ripping this out and then doing the same thing I did with the pumpkin color on this, and it will go right here. But yeah, it was definitely a trial and error kind of situation. I think I still could do 46 stitches. I think that would probably be perfect, but it would be so close on some of these that I would be getting really nervous. It's amazing how much just 4 extra stitches make for a square, both size-wise and yarn usage-wise, because what you're doing is you're adding in these extra long rows. It's funny too, because when I hold this up to one of these squares, it doesn't look all that different in size, like just barely. Well, it's crooked, but just barely. But it's amazing how when I show you those 2 side by side compared to the 2 at the 44 stitches, how different it is. So you can imagine when you get 10, 15, 20 squares wide, the difference that just 4 extra stitches per square is going to make versus the 40. So anyway, I have no plans on when that's going to be done or how often I'll work on it. One thing that I am doing with this one is I am tracking the month and how many grams I'm using, like basically how many squares I'm finishing, because I do want to count this monthly, any month that I work on it, into my yarn out for my state of the stash, because I think it's a lot more motivating to have that immediate feedback of, okay, this month I knit 40 grams of yarn versus 10 years from now counting out, several thousand grams. Because that's where I'm at on my fingering weight one. And it is just so close, so close to being done, but it's so far along that I don't want to start doing that now with that blanket. But similar to how I have tracked my Marled Magic blanket, which I still need to get back to, I just find it nice to count when you've finished a section. And something modular like that, it is easy to count the yarn for a section. So that's my thoughts on that. And I'm happy to have cast it on because I had that itch for a very long time, really wanted to do it. And now it is, I was going to say on the needles. Technically, it's not on any needles, but it can be on the needles. It's going, it's in progress, and I'm happy about that. The next project I have to show you is the one that I mentioned this morning that I cannot put down. I'm very excited about it, and I'm also playing catch up, so that makes me want to like knit faster. That is my Jaunty shawl by Andrea Mowry. I started this on February 22nd, 2026 with my Chicken Lady Fiber Arts Lent countdown. So it's 40 minis starting on Ash Wednesday, going up to, I think the last one will be opened a few days before Easter. The point is to have a finished object on Easter or right thereabouts. So I am going to show colors 1 through 19. I am behind. Today I just opened number 26, so that gives you an idea of how far behind I am. If you don't want to see colors 1 through 19, this would be the time to look away. But I know other people are sharing this, and so if you're on Instagram, you've probably seen it. But I'm going to show it. So there it is. The last time I showed you, I had put in my gingerbread house progress keeper, but I've replaced it with a coffee cup because I just felt that was a little bit more season appropriate. Although coffee cups are always season appropriate, if you ask me. So the coffee cup is there. I have done quite a lot since then. Like I said, I have just started color 19, but you don't even really see it on there yet. This is color 19. I can't tell if it's either a deep dark blue or a purple, but you can see some of the same color was in color 18. That was a variegated with blue and this color. So that being said, I am almost to the halfway point. Color 20 would be halfway. And Andrea Mowry recommends to stop doing increases at the 45% mark, so 45% of your yarn. I am not doing that because, unless I did the math wrong, when I count what 45% would be, it would have had me stopping increases on day 18 of the yarn. And that to me, by the time I'm getting done, even if there is a discrepancy in my gauge, I'm gonna probably not knit an entire mini, and I didn't want that. So what I plan on doing, you increase every 8 rows of this pattern. I'm gonna be paying attention when I'm getting close to starting that 20th mini, if I am near an increase, or if I've just done an increase. If I am near an increase, depends on how many rows out. I may just switch to doing decreases when I start number 20, because I'd still, like say I just did an increase and then I'd have 8 more rows to go. I'll do those 7 rows and then do a decrease. If I'm about to do one, we'll see how many rows off I am, or I may just start decreasing a little bit early. I think her recommendation of 45% is smart if you're using a hand spun, because hand spun varies so much. But with this, specifically having 40 10-gram minis, I don't want to miss out on a whole entire mini. If I start running short, because you can see how little yarn some of these first rows would take. If I start running short at the end, I'm not too worried. Obviously, I don't know what the final color is going to be, but the fact that there are so many colors in this, I think I'll be able to find something to do just a few little rows and a bind off if I have to. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully I have just a little bit left. But as you know, you hear me talk about the DK weight cozy memories. I like to use as much of the yarn as I can without playing an extreme game of yarn chicken. So this is my plan to work on after I'm done here. Very excited to hit that decrease and start getting shorter rows. I did forget to say I am up to 105 stitches per row right now. I just did an increase in case you're curious. So yeah, it'll be nice to start having less stitches and having those rows go really fast again. The next and final project I have to show you is also one with potential spoilers. It is the Mohair Mobile by Stephen West. That is the current mystery knit along shawl that Stephen is hosting. This is not a normal one that he does, but he did do a glow along. This is part of the glow along series. He did that last year. Gosh, I'm forgetting what the shawl was called. I can visualize it. It has like bubble stitch, and the bubbles are smaller at the top and then they get bigger as they go down. It's a huge shawl. But I don't believe that one was a mystery last year. So this one is a mystery. So I have done both clues 1 and 2. If you don't want to see what that looks like, actually, I'll show you my yarns first and then we'll show the shawl, but I'll tell you when to look away if you don't want to see. So my colors, let's see, can I get them in order? Does it matter? Probably not. All of my yarns are Knit Picks Chroma Lace, which is a discontinued yarn, which is a real bummer because I am enjoying using this. This has been in my stash, I think since September 2018, a long, long time. I originally bought it to do a modified version of an Andrea Mowry fade shawl. So that's why my colors kind of go together or fade. That never happened because that shawl was intended for fingering weight. This is lace. I felt like I couldn't hold it double. Anyhow, my color 1, I won't give you color names just because they are discontinued, but color 1, color 2, color 3. Try and hold these up here. Color 4. And color 5. So as you can see, my yarns are not mohair and they are gradients within themselves. So not only are they kind of a fade together, but they self-stripe, gradiate. So I am using yarns that are much different than what Stephen had suggested. My main color of the shawl is just an undyed sock yarn, just a creamy white. And now that you've seen all my colors, now I'm going to show my shawl. So if you don't want to see, look away. All right, don't look if you don't want to look. This is, all tangled up is what it is. This is my Mohair Mobile. Such a fun shawl so far. I don't know what's the top, what's the bottom. I really don't know what's coming next, but I do love how my colors are working up. So we started clue 1 by making these triangles, which was such an interesting construction because you see how they're flip-flopped. When you knit them, they're all going the same direction. It's very interesting how he did that. So that was section 1 of clue 1. Then section 2 of clue 1 were these waves that you see across the bottom. And that had the lace weight on its own, and it had the fingering weight on its own, and then it had sections where it marled as well. And it's kind of a feather and fan pattern. Then clue 2, it is all marled. So it's all fingering held with the different colors of lace weight, which I just think it looks so cool because my colors change. So even though I have 5 different colors, it's really, I don't even know, lots and lots and lots of colors. But they all just look so cohesive. The overall feeling that I'm getting from these colors is ocean waves, especially with the wavy stitch patterns. So this is the ocean or the sea, and I absolutely love it. I am super enjoying this pattern. I don't have enough good things to say. I love Stephen's mystery knit-alongs so much. They are pure joy. Even the parts that I don't like as much, I get through because I know I'm going to love it in its totality. So I've put that away. If you want to look back at the screen, I will say I'm not going to do it right now. I will have done it already, but I will put in some photos of pictures that I took of the shawl because when you're holding it up, the waves get distorted and then it's just hard to visually show the entire thing. But when I get a photo, it's easier to see. So I will have put that in there. Also, I'm linking down below links to my Clue 1 vlog and my Clue 2 vlog. I do enjoy doing a weekly vlog as I go through those clues for any mystery knit along. I find that to be really fun. So if you are wanting an even deeper dive, go check those out. That is all of the, oh, what am I doing? Oh, yes. That is all the knitting that I have to show you this week. So I feel like I have worked on a lot, and also I don't have a ton of things to show you, but I guess that's good because I'm making progress, or good progress, on all the things. Let's see. I wanted to mention a product that I bought. I saw an ad on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and it is this. This is Hive and Holler is the company. It's a lotion bar. I'm not sponsored. I paid for this with my own money. But a while back, Michelle from Naughty Knitwits had mentioned that she couldn't find the website for Lolo, what was it? Lolo bar, Lolo body bar, something like that. Anyway, it's a solid lotion bar. So I have used the Lolo bars in the past, and I liked them okay. I really loved the scents. To me, they were a bit greasy feeling, but I have super dry hands, and so it's probably a good thing. And so I also looked for Lolo, and I couldn't find it, and I had one still at work, so I started using that again at work, and I liked it okay, but I found it to be kind of sticky, and I'm not sure if that's because it was pretty old. That could be part of why. But I decided if I used that one at work frequently enough that I would allow myself to buy something else to replace that, I guess. So Hive and Holler is the one. This is the little tin that it comes in. The bee, it looks much better when you first get it because that's where I like to rub my finger to put it on my cuticles. So the bee doesn't look so good anymore, but when you first get it, it looks amazing. This is the scent Blueberry Cobbler. It is, of the 4 that I bought, this is my favorite. The one I have at work is called Dark Roast, which it's supposed to be coffee and hazelnut. The hazelnut overpowers the coffee flavor, or scent, I should say, to me, but it's still nice. The one I have on my nightstand is, because this is the one I keep with my knitting. The one on my nightstand is Lemon Pound Cake, which I also really like. And then I got a 4th one, which is Biblioteca, which if you like more of a, I'm going to call it a manly scent. I think its notes are like amber and leather and I don't know. But when I smell that, I'm like, oh, I think that would smell nice on my husband. But it's fine. I like it just fine. I don't really have a place for that one yet, but it's on my nightstand with the other one. So yes, I am enjoying these. I have it on my hands right now, which obviously I've had it on since just before I started podcasting. But the thing that I notice about this, even though you can feel it and it feels a little greasy, it feels much different than the Lolo bar to me because it's not sticky. And it feels almost like a powdery, but moisturized, if that makes any sense, because I don't know how that makes sense, but it is what it is. These are the ingredients if you want to pause that. But yeah, it just seems like a good company, and they're in West Virginia. Nice to support a small business. And if you're looking for an alternative to a Lolo bar or another lotion bar, I've been happy with these. So there is my 2 cents. As far as reading goes, I did finish the Forever Strong Playbook by Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. Finally, I finished week 5 of the workouts. I should be doing week 6 or starting week 6 yesterday or today, but I think I'm going to wait till tomorrow. So I have technically 3 more workouts to finish week 6, which has probably taken me 7 weeks to do. And it is what it is. But I am enjoying that. I did enjoy the book. I gave it 4 stars. I think it's really important information. I think it resonated with me pretty well. There were parts of the book that I didn't love. And essentially what you're supposed to do is fill in the blanks, like fill in this is my why, this is my experience, this is, I'm sure all that stuff is valuable. It's just not something I'm inclined to do. Maybe I would have gotten more out of the book or the whole process if I would have done those things. But I was also reading it on an e-reader, ebook, and I just didn't want to print it out or write on a separate piece of paper. I don't know. It's just not for me. But if it's for you, maybe you will think it's a 5-star book. I don't know. It's pretty good. The other book that I finished, which I was listening to as an audiobook, was The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I gave that 4 stars. I really enjoyed that book. I originally was going to listen to The Women, which is a really popular book by Kristen Hanna, but for some reason on Libby, which is the library app, it was there. It said it was available, but when I went to check it out, it said it wasn't available through my library, so I don't understand that. But I found this book and I really liked it. I don't know what The Women is about. I think it's historical fiction. This Four Winds was historical fiction as well. But I know it's really popular and I think she's a good author. I would definitely listen to or read more books by her, I think. The other book that I started reading is The Secret of Secrets. That is a Dan Brown book, the Robert Langdon series. It's number 6, which I think is the final book. I don't know if it's always the final book, but currently it is the most recent or last book that's out. And then I started listening to You Like It Darker by Stephen King. I almost said Stephen West. Making sure I wrote Stephen King in my notes. Yes, I did. And I like that. It's just a series of short stories, which there are some that are just, it's like a normal story until you get up to the very end, and then the end comes and you're just like, whoa, what? How did that happen? So yeah, there's been a couple like that have just been totally normal and then shock. So it's good. He's very good at what he does. I do enjoy his writing. As far as life goes, we are still getting Nina situated. It's so interesting to me because there are definitely good days and then not so good days. The other day, I just took a picture of Nina and Ollie laying on the same dog bed. Their little butts were touching. I'll put the photo in. And they stayed like that for at least an hour and no issues, no growling, no upset, no nothing, just totally fine. And then that night, well, I guess I should back up and say, since last Friday, not this most recent one, but the one before that, so over a week, we have had Nina sleeping out in the living room with the dogs, not in a kennel, just out and about like the other dogs. And when we are gone for work, I also do that. I do have a security camera that I've put inside the house that I turn on when we leave, just so I can kind of monitor things. It alerts me when there's motion. I'm not sure what I could do from far away, and the camera is delayed. So again, I wouldn't be finding out right away. But my hopes is if there was a real scuffle that because I can communicate through it, if I started yelling at them, hopefully that would separate things. But anyway, so right after this day where they're laying together, everything's fine. We go to bed that night, and about 1:30 in the morning, we just wake up to screaming, like dog screaming. And I really don't know exactly what happened. I don't keep the cameras on when we're home. Maybe I should, but no dog was injured. It was all fine. I think it was Ollie that was screaming. He was upset about something, and that's not something he normally does. And so I do believe Nina was involved, but I think what it boiled down to was her not wanting to share her bed with him. And so it's very confusing to me why sometimes it can be absolutely fine. Other times it is very not fine. And sometimes it's just kind of not fine. Like sometimes she doesn't growl, sometimes she'll growl, and then sometimes she'll attack. And it's like, why? The other regression that we've seen with her is that we have a doggy door that goes from our sliding glass door out onto the backyard. She was doing so good at that. And now I can't get her to initiate going in and out of it for the life of me. She'll stand outside in the rain, not trying to even use the dog door. And I don't understand why. I'm so confused. So we've been having to make sure she goes out because she's not reliable to go out the door on her own. Even though she has free access, she watches the other dogs do it. I just don't understand, and it's frustrating. So today I've started giving her some treats to go out and in, trying to encourage her to do that. She's been here just over a month, like a month plus a few days. Wednesday would have been a month exactly. So I know there's the whole 3-3-3 thing with dogs, and I can't remember the exact differences, but it's like 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. And 3 days is where they're just starting to get used to things, but they're still like on edge. The 3 weeks, I want to say, this is probably the situation we're in, it's where they say you can start to see some of the bad behaviors come out because they're starting to get more comfortable. And then at 3 months, they're supposed to be completely, I don't know what that's like. They're supposed to get it. They're supposed to know they're not going anywhere and feel comfortable and know the routine and all that. So I don't really know. If anyone has experience with a dog who was doing really good with something like going out and then suddenly not doing good, if you could hopefully tell me that it gets better or relay how you kind of helped that situation, that would be helpful, because we were waking up to poops on the carpet and we're like, why is she doing this? Because she was going out just fine. So anyway, that is life stuff. The other life stuff I have is that I did get my new glasses. They are progressive lenses, like I mentioned, I was thinking about getting. And I was so worried about having like a transition where it was going to be difficult. And I don't know if they forgot to put them in my glasses or what exactly, but other than a slight headache the first day I got them, which is kind of normal with new glasses for me anyway, because my eyes aren't used to seeing as crisp and clear as the new glasses let me. That was the only thing. By day 2, no headache. They showed me, like when I first put them on in the store, they gave me like this piece of paper where the writing at the top is bigger, it gets smaller, 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 all the way to the bottom. And they're like, just look at this. And so I do, and I'm expecting what my mom told me was, she said, when she first got her progressive, she could see out like a dime size out the bottom. And then as she got used to him, she could see bigger. So I'm expecting to see this really narrow focus, like having to maybe move my eyes or my head to kind of see. And I had none of that. Like everything looked fine. They're like, be careful going up and down steps because your depth perception is going to be different. I haven't had any issues with that. Like, I don't know. It just seems very seamless, which I'm thankful for. Don't get me wrong. I'm just a little confused why it was so easy. I'm thinking it's possibly because my magnification for the vision or the reading part is so low that it really isn't super noticeable. That's my guess. I don't really know. I'm confused. But I'm happy that I'm not getting headaches and that I can see my phone. It seems to be working just fine. I can't think of anything else. I will say the reason I did not do a regular episode last week was because I had really only worked on the Mohair mobile and I had nothing else to show you, and I had just put out a video specifically about that clue. So it seemed kind of silly to re-record something just to say the same things I'd already said. So if you missed a regular episode from me last week, I apologize. When I don't do it, it's probably either because I'm busy, which usually isn't the case, or because I just don't have anything to show. Thank you for being here with me today. I really do appreciate you stopping by. I hope that you found something that resonated with you here. If you have anything that you would like to comment on, ask me about, please leave that comment right down below, or you can reach out to me on direct messaging or by my email. I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.